Hello everybody, I am Keaton and this is Good Catholic Season 12, Episode 4. I hope that you all are having an absolutely wonderful Tuesday so far. I know that I am. And guys, what I want to get into for today's video is something that was actually suggested to me by someone at my school. And I feel like it's something that I haven't really talked a lot about here on this channel, yet it's something that's such a prevalent issue in our society, among our generation, that it's something that is worth talking about, and that is hatred. Not just how I deal with hatred, but what hatred is in general, because the word hate itself is so loosely used in our society and so loosely defined. Oftentimes you and I even say it just over simple things without really even thinking about it, like I hate this basketball team, or I hate chocolate ice cream, right? And sometimes we say hate when we mean dislike, and on the surface it could seem like that's not much of an issue. Obviously we don't mean hate, we just mean dislike. But the more that we start to interchangeably use the words dislike and hate, the more problematic it becomes, because hate gets used and used so often. Because hate is something that is so loosely used and loosely defined, oftentimes our society gets mixed up with what is hate and what isn't hate, and I will be getting into that as well. First, it is important that we understand what hate is and how it is defined. So right here, I have the Catholic Encyclopedia pulled up, and it explains what theologians commonly mention as two distinct species of hate. So two types of hate. The first, which is considered loathing, is, quote, is that in which the intense dislike is concentrated primarily on the qualities or attributes of a person, and only secondarily, as it were, derivatively upon the person himself. So hatred of the action, which is still sinful. And then we have the second sort, hostility, aims directly at the person, indulges a propensity to see what is evil and unlovable in him, feels a fierce satisfaction at anything tending to his discredit, and is keenly desirous that his lot may be an unmixedly hard one, either in general or in this or that specified way. So we have the first type, loathing, and we have the second type, hostility. Hostility, again, more targeting the person himself, and both are sinful. I also want to look at the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which I have right here. In the CCC 2303, we read, "Deliberate hatred is contrary to charity. Hatred of the neighbor is a sin when one deliberately wishes him evil. Hatred of the neighbor is a grave sin when one deliberately desires him grave harm. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven." Guys, hatred is something that is so common today just because people can hide behind a computer. I have dealt with my fair share of internet hate over the years, right, in the comment section and things like that, and I'm sure that we all have at some point dealt with some sort of hate, whether that be in person or online. And the issue is, as Catholics, when we stand up for what the Catholic Church teaches, when we stand up for the truth, even if that be on subjects that can be considered sensitive or touchy in our society, people can see our opinion, or not our opinion, but the Catholic Church's teaching, which is the truth, and see it as hatred. Because hate is so loosely defined, because it gets tossed around so much. I don't know if you've ever heard this. We've heard people say, like, oh, I'll respect your opinion unless it's hateful. The issue with that comment is that that person sees hatefulness as not what it is, but as something loosely defined, as strong dislike. In reality, the Catholic Church's teachings, what we are to be standing up for, is not hateful at all. Rather, it is full of love, because we are trying to correct the sins of our brothers and sisters, just as we are trying to correct our own sins. Because we sin too, just as those who are not Catholic sin. And so it is a form of love, because we are trying to correct it so that their souls may be entered into the kingdom of heaven, just as we want our souls to be. And so in that way, because hatred is loosely used, it gets tossed around with the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is not full of hate. And in standing up for the Church, we are not full of hate either. We are simply full of love in trying to correct it, so long as we do so in a loving, kind way. Because again, the term gets used so much. It's one thing to not hate people. It's another thing to use the word hate so much. We need to completely get rid of it in our vocabulary. Listen, I know dislike is 2 syllables and hate is 1, so it may take a little longer, but it is important that we continue to use that word rather than hate. Because Just because someone disagrees with us or disagrees with the teachings of the faith, or we can see someone living in sin, doesn't mean we hate that person. We need to pray for that person. Prayer is such a powerful thing here. It's the same thing when we are dealing with hate. When we have hatred flying towards us, whether that be on the internet or in person, at school, whatever it might be, the most that we can do is pray for that person, not to hate back, to turn the other cheek, to hope that their soul is corrected and then that they see what they have done wrong in the same way that we do. Because guys, we can't go around correcting hate, saying that I don't like all this internet hate, I don't like all the hate I'm getting, if we hate ourselves. Not necessarily we hate ourselves, but we do hating also. Let me put it that way. If we do hating also, that's definitely improper English, but if we hate others also, then who are we to sit and complain about the hate that we receive? It's hypocritical, right? It goes both ways. So let's not hate other people. Let's show other people love in correcting their sins and standing up for the truth of our faith, which is essential. And it's scarier now to do more than ever. Putting not just our opinion, but the teaching of the faith out on the internet, saying that we agree with it, saying that we stand for it, or even in person is a scary thing to do because of some of the hate and the backlash that we might receive. Trust me, I maybe know that better than anybody, right? But at the end of the day, it is so important to stand up for the truth of the faith, regardless of how people might view that. And that if we receive hate from it, like again, how I mentioned, I've received hate on a lot of my videos, both in school, on the internet, whatever it might be. When we are dealing with that, we need to understand other people's judgment doesn't matter. Other people's judgment genuinely does not matter. We have a right to judge other people's actions. We can judge what other people say. Other people can judge our actions. That judgment may not be correct, but at least they have the right to do so. What people do not have the right to do is to judge who we are as a person, just as we do not have the right to judge who anybody else is as a person. The only judgment that matters is God's. At the end of the day, God is the only one who can judge us as a person. He created us. He is the only one who can judge us, who has any right to. And so, would we rather be judged by others for standing up for the faith, for talking about God, or would we rather be judged by God for not? And at the end of the day, we should rather be judged by others all day long for talking about God, for standing up for the truth. The sooner we understand that their judgment doesn't matter, the better. That is one of the ways that I'm able to deal with the hate that I receive, right? And that's one of the ways we can all deal with any hate that we might get flying our way. But guys, again, it goes both ways. It's a two-way street. And so we need to not be hating others as well. Rid it entirely from our vocabulary. I know I'm using that word a lot in this episode, but the less and less we are able to use it in general, the better off that we will be. I'm going to say this. Dislike that other NBA team. Dislike chocolate ice cream all you want. Or dislike the actions of another person or the beliefs of another person all day long. But the minute we bring hate into the conversation, that is when it all changes. So just to overlook it, it is important to understand that, one, the teachings of the faith, the teachings that we are to stand up for, that we believe to be true because they are, those teachings are not hate. Those teachings are full of love, especially if we approach it in a loving way. Two, when dealing with hate, either on the internet or in person, it is necessary that we understand that only God's judgment matters and that we come to Him and pray for those who are hating on us. And three, it is necessary that we do not hate others as well, that we completely rid the word hate out of our vocabulary because it is too loosely used in our society, and that if we see others living in sin, if we see others sort of being antagonistic or hostile towards Catholics, that we pray for them, that we feel pity for them rather than hate. So now that the topic is done, y'all know what it's time for now. It's time for
the Saint of the Week.
And today's saint of the week is St. Polycarp. Now, St. Polycarp's feast day is coming up in just a couple days on February 23rd, as of when this video is posted, of course. Now, St. Polycarp was born in the year 69 and died in the year 155, so a very early saint, but a very long-living saint. He was actually a friend of St. Ignatius, and St. Ignatius actually wrote him as St. Ignatius went into Rome, where he would eventually be martyred, and wrote him a personal letter. St. Polycarp was noticed for his leadership when he was chosen as a representative to speak with the Pope on the date of the Easter celebration in Rome, which was, at the time, a very controversial topic. Now, St. Polycarp knew hate a lot, because the story of how he got martyred is maybe one of the most unique martyrdom stories there is. At the age of 86, he was led into a crowded stadium. Literally, a stadium of people came to watch him be burned alive. But as he was being burnt, he actually survived it and was later killed by a dagger in that same stadium, which might be a little violent, might be a little gruesome, but it does go to show that he endured the hatred of that time, a hatred that some of us can't even imagine that level of hatred, right? Because, again, at the time, Christians were being so heavily persecuted. Polycarp always remembered to turn the other cheek, helped the poor, and did what he could to look out for, in a way, the little guy, those being persecuted, those who were enduring hate, because St. Polycarp was one of them. And again, he didn't show hatred in return. Instead, he showed love, and as a result is now happy with Jesus in the eternal kingdom of heaven, just like we are all called to be. So anytime we feel that we may be struggling to sort of deal with hate, to understand what hatred truly is, or to avoid hating others, we can always look to St. Polycarp for help. St. Polycarp, pray for us. So before you guys click off this video, I'm not just a YouTuber, I'm also a Catholic speaker. So I would love to come and get to speak to your church, school, parish, men's group, women's group, youth group, whatever it might be, you name it. And if you want to book me to come speak, please email me directly at kidcatholic1@gmail.com, or go to my website, kidcatholic.com, click the contact me page, and email me from there. On my website, there's a whole page of sort of details of speaking engagements that I've done. There's a whole Kid Catholic shop up there. All my videos are up there. You can read a bio about me, all sorts of different things you can do up there on kidcatholic.com. So please go check that out. Also, please click the red subscribe button down below, because it really does help this ministry to grow. It's free. It's easy. Setting up an account is free. Won't spam your email or anything like that. It really does help this ministry to expand, and we are trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. If you are already subscribed, please share this channel and video with your friends and family. Make sure that they know about Kid Catholic. Please like the video. Please comment any saint or topic suggestions that you might have for future videos. Also, please check out all three of my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The link to all three of those will be in the description down below. Thank you guys once again for watching. I hope that you all are having a wonderful Tuesday, a good start to your week as we near the end of February and get closer and closer to the season of Lent. Once again, thank you guys for watching. I am Keaton of Kid Catholic. I will see you all next week, and hi, Brielle.